Hi, I'm Casey Stutzman, owner here at the Performance Locker, and I want to help you better understand some of the numbers and sizes associated with stand-up paddleboards. There's three numbers we're going to look at. There's the length, the width, and the overall volume. Length is commonly misunderstood. We often think that a longboard equals a stable board, and that's not necessarily the case. The length is going to depend on the type of paddling you're doing and the type of conditions. You will notice that your touring and your racing boards tend to be on the longer end, where your surf style boards and your all-around boards are on the shorter end of the spectrum. A shorter board is going to give you a little bit more maneuverability. A longer board is going to give you more directional stability and better tracking. So for instance, a racing board or a touring board that I'm going long distances, I want better tracking, meaning more strokes per side. I also want good directional stability, which means stability back to front. So that way, if I'm going with the waves, I don't have them bumping and throwing me off balance. A shorter board is going to be more nimble. It's going to turn more easy. So you're going to see a lot of your surf style boards be on the little bit more shorter end. That being said, when we look at the width of the board, you can have a short board that is very wide, and that will be a very stable board. So when we're looking at how stable a board is going to be, we want to look at the width. For example, if I'm looking at a racing board and I have three different boards that are 14 feet long, but are 26, 28, and 30 inches, the 30-inch board is generally going to be more stable than the 26-inch board. However, with width, there's always a trade-off. The wider the board, the more drag through the water. So back to that racing board, if I have a narrow board, that's going to cut through the water more efficiently. So you have to decide, do I want stability or do I want a little bit less resistance as I cut through the water? And the final, and probably a good one to look at, especially when you're purchasing a first board, is overall volume. So volume is going to tell you what size rider should go on that board. Larger riders generally need more volume. Now the volume is also going to take the width into account as well as, the thickness into the account as well as the width and the length of the board. So you can have a very short board that has a ton of volume, which means it'd be great for a heavy rider. You could have a very long board that doesn't have a lot of volume and might not be as good for that heavy rider. So if you have a heavier rider on a lower volume board, it's just going to be a little bit less stable. They're going to notice it's a little bit more tippy. But in a surf condition, maybe that's what they want. Maybe they want something that's a little more nimble and responsive as they roll through. So we want to look at the volume and make sure that the weight of the rider matches the ranges with the volume on the board.